You ever catch yourself helping someone through their fears, their doubts, their "I'm not good enough" story, and then go home and spiral into that exact same thought loop? Yeah, me too. It's like being a personal trainer who sometimes forgets to stretch, a chef that still orders Uber Eats, or a life coach who, still sometimes doubts himself. This one is for all of us out here doing the work and still battling the voice in our head that says, "Who in the hell do you think you are?" This conversation might sting a little, but it's also going to set you free. But first, hi, welcome to the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast, where personal growth meets deep thought and introspection. I am your host, Dillon, and in this episode, we are exploring my personal journey through the journal prompt, Confronting Skepticism. What are your doubts around life coaching or healing? How can you address these doubts with curiosity instead of resistance? Let me start this one off by saying it's a strange and sometimes hilarious thing to be in a profession that asks people to trust themselves more when you still catch yourself questioning your own ability to lead them there. I have been a coach and have owned this business for over 5 years now. I've worked with clients all over the world, held spaces in their darkest moments, guided them through huge emotional breakthroughs, and watched them walk on the other side with the confidence that they were craving and they didn't know it was possible yet. And yet here I am. I still hear it. That voice that says, "Are you really good at this? What if they figure you out? What if you're just winging it and don't even know you're just winging it?" Insert imposter syndrome right there. And here's the kicker. I'm not alone, not even close. According to research by the International Journal of Behavioral Science, nearly 70% of people will experience imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. And it doesn't matter how successful, intelligent, or experienced you are. In fact, the more you care about your work, the more likely it is to show up. And that's the first big truth I want to unpack with you today. We don't feel like imposters because we're frauds. We feel like we're imposters because we genuinely care and want to help make a difference in the world in some sort of capacity. Let me read you something directly from what I wrote in this journal entry. I still struggle to navigate imposter syndrome. Even with all of the testimonials, Google reviews, and my friends and family telling me how I was able to hold space for them and help them through a time of need. Navigating my inner critic still feels like a very real thing. However, I am able to silence the inner critic much quicker than I was able to before. Let that settle for a second. The truth is, healing doesn't mean the voices disappear. I want to make that point very, very clear, because that was the belief I held on to for a very, very long time. Then I would get down on myself because the voices would come back, thinking that I either did the work wrong or that healing was not possible. However, I have learned that healing means we stop believing the inner critic so quickly. We put ourselves into a position where we choose to respond to a situation instead of react out of emotional thought habits. It means when doubt shows up at our door, we are no longer inviting it in, handing it over the remote, and letting it decide what movie we want to watch that night. We hear it, we recognize it, we observe it, and then we choose something different. But how do we do that? Well, that's what we are going to explore together right now. Doubt is not the problem. The problem is when we mistake doubt for truth, when we believe that the presence of fear means the absence of readiness. But what if we flip that? What if the presence of fear meant that we're standing at the edge, at the exact edge we need to cross to grow? Because here's a radical thought. Every time you level up, your nervous system has to recalibrate. You're stretching into something new, uncertain, and unfamiliar. That discomfort is not a warning sign. It's a growth alarm. It's your system saying, hey, we haven't been here before. Are we still safe? Are we still enough to be here? And that's where the curiosity has to come in. When we meet those moments with resistance, we get stuck. We try to force ourselves through, hustle harder, outthink it by overthinking it. Because that makes a lot of sense when you think about it, right? Essentially trying to prove our worth to ourselves. When we meet these thoughts or beliefs with curiosity, we then give ourselves permission to ask, what part of me is afraid right now? What belief is this reaction rooted in? Is this fear new or just an old voice in a new disguise? Every time I do this work with my clients, or with myself because I'm doing it too, I find something new beneath the surface. A memory, a moment, a meaning I didn't realize that I had attached to success or worthiness. One of my biggest breakthroughs I had recently was this. Whenever these limiting beliefs pop up for me, I know it's not the exact same belief as before. It's another layer. Another layer of the belief that has to be addressed still, which was rooted in a different experience and is serving my ego to try and keep me in the comfort of the familiarity. When we live in a world obsessed with instant transformation, we want the 5-step formula or the one-and-done quick fix or the magical journal prompt that breaks us open and puts us back together the exact way we're supposed to be or that we feel like we're supposed to be. But healing doesn't work that way. Healing is layered. It's cyclical. Healing says, you've been here before, but now you have more tools, more awareness, more self-trust to be able to dig deeper and pull back another layer or two. So if you find yourself circling back to old stories, old doubts, old wounds, don't panic. That's not regression. That's refinement. It's mastery in disguise. To my fellow leaders, high performers, or coaches, basically whatever category you fall under with leading people and holding space for them, it is entirely possible to be helping others heal while still doing your own healing. That's not a contradiction. That's integrity. Your ability to sit with someone else's fear while still holding your own doubts gently, that's what makes you powerful. That's what builds trust. And being able to put that aside, that is what leadership is all about. Because clients don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present. They need resonance. They need to know that you've walked the road, not that you've somehow floated over it on this self-help cloud. When you choose curiosity over resistance, not only do you grow, you model the exact same thing you want for your clients or your peers or your coworkers or friends or family or whomever. One of the final lines that I wrote in my journal entry was this. The reality is, this is normal. Anyone who cares about the people they work with or the problem they want to help solve will navigate some sort of imposter syndrome at some point in time. It's normal. And the unfortunate reality is that most people will let the inner critic win. Not this guy, though. Every challenge will be met with a challenge accepted. That's the vibe. That is the Wolverine lifestyle. It's not that we never feel doubt. It's that we meet doubt with determination. It's not that we're fearless. It's that we fear less every time we choose curiosity instead of collapse. So my question to you is this. What belief do you hold that is ready to be met with curiosity today? What would happen if you said, challenge accepted to your own inner critic? If you're feeling this episode and you're realizing that your self-doubt isn't a red flag, it's an invitation, you're not alone. I'm right here with you, still doing the work, still peeling back those uncomfortable layers, and still saying yes to the next version of me. So if you're ready to do the same, if you're tired of overthinking, tired of second guessing, and tired of holding yourself back where you know you were meant for more, I want to invite you into a deeper conversation. DM me the words challenge accepted on Instagram, and I will personally send you my go-to tool for dismantling imposter syndrome and rebuilding self-trust. Let's keep growing. Let's do this together. As always, thank you for joining me for this episode of the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast. If it resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs the reminder that sometimes the loudest voice isn't their truth, it's their fear. And this episode will help them to know how to tell the difference. And if you're ready to take a step further into your own self-exploration journey, grab my free ebook, 30 Days to Know Yourself. The link will be in the show notes along with all of the other links to the rest of my socials and resources. Until next time, remember, your doubt is not your downfall. It's the doorway to the version of you that's finally ready to be seen.